Did you know that according to the Happy Planet Index, Costa Rica is the happiest and most sustainable place on the planet? Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben Lee. Today we're gonna be talking about 7 things that I learned from buying land in Costa Rica and what you should know if you're thinking of doing the same. Number 1, infrastructure. When you're building a house in the United States or a lot of parts of Western Europe, you're not oftentimes thinking about building access roads and electrical meters and water wells and all these things. Well, here in Costa Rica, you do, especially if you want to buy land. First and foremost, making sure you have good water and reliable service is very important. Number 2, find yourself a good lawyer. In Costa Rica, lawyers are doing most of the heavy lifting in real estate transactions. They might also have to play your therapist. Buying in a foreign country is difficult and very stressful. Navigating the bureaucratic nightmares, the notary, the taxes, additional liabilities, title, deeds, documents, everything is really complicated. So find yourself someone that you can trust. Number 3, be careful with real estate agents. Most real estate agents or brokers in Costa Rica are known as pirate agents, especially in smaller beach town communities. So it's completely unregulated. They're oftentimes stepping on each other's toes. They might be a surf instructor, or they might be a friend of a friend, and they've got this access to land, or their cousin's land is for sale, or whatever. That's all fine and dandy, but most of the time, agents are just trying to hustle. So you want to really work with someone that you can trust, you know that's got a really good portfolio, and they've got the service that you expect. Number 4, be friends with all your neighbors. What happens to you oftentimes happens to your neighbors here in Costa Rica. There's a mudslide, or there's a hurricane, or there's a cyclone, or whatever is happening in extreme weather conditions, such as places in Costa Rica, oftentimes affects the whole neighborhood. So it's important to have good neighbor relations. Oftentimes there's WhatsApp channels for certain people who live on a hillside or mountain, share tips or resources about how to get the internet back up, or how to get a water tank, or a million other things. So maintain your neighbor relations. They're important here. Number 5, do proper due diligence. Many times sellers or landowners, they want to be pushy. They want to get a deal done as quickly as possible so they can get paid, obviously. But that's not good for the buyer or for you as an investor. So my recommendation is take your time with the due diligence process. Even hire somebody like an architect or my firm who can help you understand what you can do with the property in terms of zoning and the very nuanced laws here that exist in Costa Rica. Because the challenge is the laws here are constantly changing. So what you may be allowed to do today could be very different tomorrow or next year. So make sure you know exactly what you are able to do with your property. This also helps you with negotiation. So if you do a feasibility study on land and you learn that you can't build more than 20% of that property, and the broker or the agent or the seller told you can build more, that gives you negotiation power. That means you can negotiate a better price. Number 6, learn to practice patience. I know we all have this dream of building this incredible beachfront villa or having a house in the hills and, making all these cool Pinterest boards of what we ultimately want to build. And we all want it yesterday, especially millennials. We don't know how to practice patience. But just remember, things do not work like the States here. Everything takes a very long time. So I would really expect to 2x everything that you expect. If you've been told it's going to take 1 year to build a home, I would expect it to take 2 years. If you've been told it's going to be 2 months to dig a well or build a well, I would say 4 months. So just plan for worst case scenario and manage your expectations that there isn't always going to be the same sense of urgency like back home. Number 7, understand your tax liabilities. Everybody wants to become the next big short-term rental king here. They think it's easy. They think it's a matter of rehabbing a couple properties and putting it on Airbnb and making all this money. Nobody actually spends time in understanding what potential tax consequences could exist for them back home, whether it's in the US or in Europe or another market. For starters, I recommend setting up a local company in Costa Rica, an LLC for example, where you will hold the deed and the title for your property in Costa Rica in that company. Then I would work with local tax and legal representatives both in Costa Rica and your home country to understand what tax consequences exist if you want to sell your property one day, you want to generate some passive income for yourself on Airbnb or other revenue streams. All right, so I hope those tips were helpful. I'm really curious to hear who winds up using some of these to purchase land or turnkey property in Costa Rica. If you have any questions, you could always drop me a line or comment below. I appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button if you found today's tips useful, and maybe I'll see you in Costa Rica.